this is stealing. This isn't
No, this is not stealing. Come on. This is Britt, who did you vote for in the New York City mayoral election primary?
Welcome to this week's More or Less. How's it going, Morans?
It's going well. It's 4th of July week. So exciting.
Oh my goodness, 4th of July week. I feel like this has been an eventful week on the pod over the years. Was this the launch of Threads 2 years ago? Am I dating ourselves?
It's funny how our brains remember that with milestones like the 4th of July. But yes, we talked about Threads.
Didn't the OpenAI thing happen as well?
No, that was in November. That was Thanksgiving. Another holiday.
We were in a different cabin then. I track news by what cabin I'm in.
We filmed that in literally, I was standing next to my surfboards. It was highly eventful.
I saw Threads announced they now have DMs this week. So, 2 years in, they're making some good product feature progress.
Does anyone use Threads?
Let me tell you who. It's the woke. So, it's the woke people.
I thought the woke were on Blue Sky, Sam.
No, they're not. Let me tell you my evidence.
Hard for the woke to find Blue Sky.
Let me tell you my evidence. It's actually pretty funny. So, as I like to do, I shitpost on the internet. And I tend to shitpost both on Threads and on X. And I got to tell you, this week I had the most stark example of the two different communities, like at scale. So I posted just being like, socialism is like a mid-wit political theory.
Yes,
right?
that
like,
was a bold language. Bold shit
here's
posting.
The thing. I like the mid-wit framework. That's a mid-wit framework. In X, hundreds of likes, like a few comments, whatever. This thing went viral on Threads with people calling me like a billionaire cuck. And it was like wildly aggressive, right? And it's really funny.
Is it worth it, Sam? Is it worth it?
I don't what? Look, if you haven't figured out yet, I don't care. Like, to me, like, people are like,
at some point there become other concerns, but yes.
I don't know. I'm not super stressed about that stuff. But it was really funny to me because I was like, oh my God, this is like the most pure example of the two different networks. Whereas on X, I was like, yeah, that's probably right. Sure. Whatever. Like, I didn't get any rise out of people. And like, people went nuts on Threads, right? And so it kind of makes sense. I feel like that's where the people who vote for the socialists live is on Threads.
Yeah, I was going to say it. It all comes back to New York's politics. And
they all feed on each other. This is the important thing to understand about these networks.
Us West Coast people feel left out.
There's like a tone set by the network and like the community. Mm-hmm. And then whatever that tone is, it will just accelerate, right? Because people feed on each other, right? So like once one person calls me a billionaire cuck, then like 12 more people think it's fun to call me a billionaire. Again, I don't care. It's just, performance art to some degree. But like, it's really, really interesting to watch these two networks.
Sam's not a heel. He just plays one on the internet.
Midwit and cuck are interesting, like slam downs. I haven't heard those in a long time.
You haven't heard cuck?
You haven't? Oh, it's all over the internet, Brett.
Like, I thought at first you said a different word.
Guys, there's many internets. There's no one internet. I mean, my Threads is obsessed with Lauren Sanchez's plastic surgery. That is all
her wedding.
My Threads is. Her wedding, her plastic surgery. Like, I don't actively use Threads, but I get tricked into clicking on it because I use Instagram so much.
Same.
And
for what it's worth, I also get tricked into that. It's very the Instagram to Threads pipeline where they like tease you with like a partly cropped thing, and you're like, I know this is gonna switch the app, but I'm gonna do it.
I highly recommend that you guys join my movement and get out of both places. Free your mind.
But then who's then? Then I have to call you a cuck live, Dave. I mean, isn't it better to be called a cuck on the internet?
I think it's. I hear you, Dave. I like the free your mind is very powerful. I've been thinking a lot about what else I would be doing if I weren't doing all these things. And like,
what's the answer?
I'd be reading books, or I'd
be
being creative.
I'd be shopping. No, I have a lot of project ideas for the information that I can't announce yet, but I'm very excited about.
So the question is, how do you go viral in both places at once?
Oh, well, I think you need things like this tweet, right? But you just get viral in completely opposite ways.
For different reasons.
No, but I'm saying, can you go viral both directions at once?
I think he did.
Positive viral?
No, he said he didn't go viral. He said he didn't go viral on X. He went viral on Threads. Truly viral both ways. I want you to go buy viral, Sam.
Buy viral.
What's the definition of viral?
Thousands.
Thousands of likes?
It depends how big your audience is. I mean, there's some people, it depends. It's a relative thing.
Yeah,
but I think...
Exactly, it's relative.
Look, I think it's interesting. I actually think that might be the God content. If you can find a piece of content, of performance art, that is loved on Threads and X and Instagram, that is like a God content piece.
God
I'm not sure it's doable, right? Because the networks are so specific.
Can't AI go and crawl all of these and find what the God content probably is across all of them?
No, AI can't do this.
It will at some point. Then you can just use all of that as
Waiting
data.
for Godot.
This is the more or less challenge. We want to hear from you if you have managed to do something.
Yeah, can someone out there do this for us and send us 5 examples of the God content that's gone viral on every platform?
Do you think God, is it like a God thing? Do you think there's like a religious thing that can work on all the platforms?
No, because the religion doesn't work on all the platforms.
No, people love religion. People love religion.
Yeah, but they love religion.
The tech bros love religion, to use a loaded term.
They love AGI as their religion, Jess.
That's fine.
They also love religion and the Antichrist. This is one of our biggest stories of the last 6 months.
What's going on with the Antichrist these days? What's the update on the Antichrist?
You'll have to talk to Peter Thiel about that.
Yeah, but Peter Thiel has always used Christian frameworks to explain the world.
Yes, he's very religious, but it's catching on because he has acolytes. But that's another topic. I have 2 pieces of breaking news. First, I now drink matcha instead of coffee.
Ooh.
Anyone?
Wait.
Anyone?
Did we incept this in you when getting you to switch to Magic Mind? Was that the beginning of your matcha?
Because I've gotten used to mildly good tasting green things. No, I just my stomach is getting really upset with coffee and it drives me crazy every day. And so yesterday I was like, I'm going to have a matcha. Did not like it at first, but it grew on me. And then I started Googling all these benefits. I'm like, where have I been?
Matcha's the best. Yeah.
Where have I been? And so I'm very intimidated about making it.
Matcha seems like something that go viral on X, but not Threads, or is it Threads but not X?
Threads, not X.
It's just so Threads. This is so.
There
Threads.
are matcha cafes.
Actually,
matcha's everywhere.
It would go viral on X because it is legitimately great for you, and so I'm
reading about mental health benefits,
the health bro culture,
energy,
and the fact that you're reading all that stuff makes it true.
It totally true, and ChatGPT and Google agreed. So that's my first bit of news, and I'll report back. If my personality changes, you'll know why. 2, I had our first real exit from Lesson Media investing.
Ooh,
and
what was it?
The San Francisco Standard, which we should probably talk about more on this pod because it's increasingly a very important publication in the city.
Look at you shilling.
I really love the Standard. You don't read it?
Of course not.
You don't. You should read the Standard. Okay. So first of all, the San Francisco Standard, founded by Mike Moritz, maybe listeners of the pod have heard of this,
has
no
a great
idea he CEO, it. Griffin Gaffney, who their vision was to be like the San Francisco local media has been in decline. The San Francisco Chronicle is not as great as it was, although I think it's getting a little better thanks to the Standard. And so the Standard covers San Francisco from, deep political news, breaks a lot of political news, and it's such an interesting political time in San Francisco, to what's going on with the sewage in Bolinas and why are surfers still surfing. So it really covers all of my interests. But anyway, it's a really interesting new publication that's
so why
growing
are
quickly.
They still surfing?
Okay, we're going to skip that.
Now you have sewage and sharks?
They balance each other out.
Yeah.
One keeps the other away.
The reason they're still surfing is they're convinced that the sewage problem has been there all along and they haven't died yet, and that they just started testing. That's why they keep doing it. So anyway, the San Francisco Standard bought Charter News, a publication co-founded by my longtime friend, Kevin Delaney, who I worked with at the Journal. And Charter is sort of a new HBS review. So it is a publication that covers the future of work with a real strong how-to angle for executives who are looking to navigate leading through this crazy time. And Charter will now be a part of the San Francisco Standard, and Kevin will be returning to San Francisco to be its editor-in-chief. So I'm a very happy investor. I'm very happy for San Francisco. And I think it's just some good news in the media biz. So everyone should check out both Charter and the SF Standard. And the Standard's getting bigger because a lot of my SF friends keep emailing me articles complaining about it because I know a lot of their editors. So that's a good sign. Local news, baby.
When did it start? I actually didn't know that Mike
want
Moritz
to say
was
on
the
the
founder.
order of 3 to 4 years ago, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So fairly new.
Interesting.
And very, Mike has strong views about politics.
Yeah, I was going to say, did it have to do with his San Francisco politics project?
Well, it's all related to his effort to transform San Francisco politics. Yes. I mean, the paper itself is not partisan. And I think actually breaks, from what I can tell, just a ton of news about City Hall and Daniel Lurie. And so they have very good reporters. And I'm excited for them.
Guys, did you see, speaking of publishers and, the fledgling media business that Jess and I know so well, Google, in an attempt to make publishers more happy because all of their traffic has dropped, especially with Gemini now rolling out on top of search results, launched a new product this week to help publishers monetize. Did you see this? It's called OfferWall.
Yeah.
Guess how publishers can now monetize through Google's new product? Well, now readers that come to your site can send you micropayments every time they take a survey.
I
or
had to
sign up for a
refrain
newsletter.
from screaming about this one. Yeah.
Or watch short advertisements. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to make all the media sites so much more terrible.
Here's the thing that you have to understand. What PM and team do you think gets staffed on survey monetization through publishers at Google? Do you think that is
it's
the A
the
team?
antitrust team,
Or
Sam.
the B team? Or the C team? Or the D team? It's like,
Oh my
that is
God.
not... That is like whoever's PMing that is just thankful they still have a job. So like, you're not really going to get the best of the best.
It's part of the ad manager group. And Sundar is actually like touting this as like the saving grace for publishers. Like,
Well,
we
Britt,
know
I'm glad
we're
you brought
stealing your
this up.
traffic.
This is a great topic. First of all, it's the antitrust group, because the only reason
The
Google's
antichrist
doing
group?
this, the antitrust group. I have yet, Google's so big, I wouldn't put, Google's probably the last place. Let's be serious. It's
To have an
antichrist group.
an antichrist team?
But the antitrust group is the one who has to keep the publishers from going apeshit about, this cataclysmic change to their business. My publisher group chats, half the content is, what's happening to your Google traffic today? Has there been an algo change? These are editors-in-chief of the largest
Yes.
publications in the world.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and also they know the ship has sailed, but Google is like kind of doling out these little breadcrumbs. And I think there's more coming. And I can't remember if we've reported it or not, because we report so much news, but more coming that they're doing. But
So if I were the PM in charge of this, here's what I would do. I would call it Publishers Clearinghouse. And what I would do
God.
is I would say, if you are a publisher, once a year, we will give a random reward of $100 million to one publication.
100
And it's just a
million.
random reward. Just a huge number. You're like, look, no, forget this micropayment thing. We're just going to have a raffle, right? And the way we're going to keep you happy is with a raffle. And as long as you publish your news publicly on the internet, you might get $100 million.
As long as they show up with a giant check at the door.
Absolutely. I'm really into giant checks.
This is like the last gasp of Web 2.
Yes.
Random reward. I love random reward.
Sam, can you please also show up with a giant check to the next company you fund, like at the door? Because I think
listen,
that'd be amazing.
I saw this thing that apparently, those little blue books that you take exams in when you have to write them live. Remember those when we were like,
I love
So-
those.
You have to break the seal.
of course you
Of
love them,
course.
Jess, because you always
Oh
ace
my
those tests.
God, I
that was
love
like
them.
you
I need
saw
a
a blue
stack
book.
of those right now. Like, I
You
just
saw
got
a blue
an
book and you
adrenaline
were
high.
just so excited. No one else in the earth was excited about the blue book, but you
You
love
know,
the blue book.
I didn't see one, Sam. I needed 3 to 4 of those things.
Wow.
You're like, blue book me. Anyway, so apparently because of AI, all these professors are going back to like handwritten in-person exams. which means that Blue Book sales are way up. So like it's the Blue Book company is crushing it. And I think that vanity checks could be the next thing. Like, who makes big publisher clearinghouse vanity checks? Because I bet like it feels like a Blue Booky type thing, like a retro.
FedEx
thing.
Print on Demand could start offering this, specifically in Silicon Valley FedEx locations.
If there was this is a great vibe coding project, is vanitycheck.com, where you go in and like, if you need to send someone a payment for something, you send it to them in a huge fucking vanity check, like as a one-click thing. I would totally do that all the time to people.
Well, you could do a collab with DoorDash so that like the random person could just send it to you. Yeah.
No, I would do who's our Pilates instructor? I would send the Pilates instructor vanity checks all day long.
You guys, but you know what else?
You're not
Gold
sending our
back.
Pilates instructor. But I know, Dave, say more.
Gold is back. So you know what's better than a big publisher clearinghouse check? Sending
a chunk of
full
gold.
truck of gold in a Brinks truck.
Oh, I thought you said old is back.
I think you might want security on that one.
That's what the Brinks truck is for, Britt.
That was like Lauren Sanchez's earrings for her wedding arrived in an armored truck. I'm sorry. I've consumed a lot of content on this.
Same.
I love that, actually. I would definitely pay people in gold if that were an option. Like if there was an app for that. Like all the time.
Send Brinks truck app.
No, I mean, like, why does Brinks not have an app? It's a great point, Dave. You know what'd be great also is what I really want is like the DoorDash style thing where you hand them the gold and then like the delivery person has to take a picture of the person with the gold and like send it to you to confirm delivery.
How do you tip them in gold?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gold economy.
That's what you got. Gold leaf. Gold leaf.
Gold leaf.
Okay, but I think this Google publishers continue to watch this space because I think
are there Google publishers left? Who publishes?
Well, all publishers are Google publishers.
All publishers are like Google. I will say Google's ads are wonderful for the information. Like I would go on record saying that they are the best performing at driving quality subs. So
I believe that
Google
because you
is a part of the media ecosystem already. But yeah, 100%. If you put all your eggs in the Google traffic basket, the game's been over forever and it's about to get a lot worse. But but
there's not really many other traffic baskets, Jess. You can't put them in the social traffic basket. So you can only put them in the email traffic or the direct.
We're in a post-traffic world, you guys.
We are in post-traffic world.
You have to feed everything to the AIs now.
No, you don't feed nothing. You feed shit to the AI. What you do is you keep it behind a paywall. You charge a lot. You use that money to buy some ads from Google. It works. But so I'm all about Google ads. But the idea that Google is going to balance the equation with micropayments on ads, that's not going to happen.
It's just so idiotic. I mean, it reminds me, guys, I haven't RSVP'd to Google's annual news conference yet, and they keep hounding me. So maybe this is a good reminder. I probably won't go, but maybe someone from the team should go. But there's so many ways Google can help publishers, like ads, Gemini. We're building cool stuff on top of Gemini. Like
Gemini's sweet. I'm a huge Gemini fan.
I love that you've switched to Gemini, Sam.
I'm deep Gemini.
I like that Sam's just like Sam's suddenly an AI optimist. It's kind of freaking me out.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all an optimist from a business model perspective, but I got to tell you that letter meme is crushing. I've gotten very good at using the tools, and I have my pipeline set up so I can do some pretty fun stuff.
Wait, what is letter meme?
It's the one where he rolls in all of the email newsletters.
Letter meme? You should check out lettermeme.com. It's crushing it. Letter meme is...
I know what letter meme is. I'm just trying to, keep the audience in the game here, Sam.
Oh, yeah. The audience should check out letter meme. It's actually fabulous. I look at it multiple times a day.
One may wonder why my husband is trying to disrupt the entire media business with AI. One may wonder, but no, it's actually a great product. Listen, and I don't think it's happening anyway, but...
Yeah, I just follow where the world takes me. And
Sam's like the Alexander Hamilton of Silicon Valley. He's just writing code.
Tweets.
Essays. Yeah.
Your cursor usage may bankrupt the company. It's unclear. No.
I gotta say, I finally really cracked the code on how to use Cursor well. And it is a classic tool, it's kind of the first times I was using it, I was like, this is trash. Like, I'd rather just do there's many other ways to use better. But once you really understand how to use it, and very importantly to their business model, even though they lose money, I believe on everyone, certainly me, you have to pay them for like the premium. The out of the box thing sucks, but once you upgrade it and set it up well and like kind of feed it everything it knows, it's pretty impressive.
We reported yesterday the information that Anthropic is at more than 4 billion in ARR, which is like
pretty amazing, but pretty crazy.
Which is the growth. I have to look up what the growth rate was. And we also kind of hinted at.
And is it all people just using it to code? Like, what do people use?
It must be.
Yes,
it has to be.
Yeah,
that's what I'm paying them for. I mean, it's got to be it.
I think the question is, I don't, and I'm just as not a user of Cursor. But like, why doesn't Anthropic just build Cursor?
I think
because they built Claude Code, and Claude Code is amazing.
But people hate on Claude Code, Dave. I saw some tweets.
I think they do, Sam, but that's because they want a more visual tool, and they're not. I think it comes back to our vibe coding episode, where if you know what you're doing with architecture, Claude Code is an amazing tool. If you don't know what you're doing with architecture, you need a more visual interface like Cursor.
Interesting.
I also, just to be clear, the Claude Code is a small percentage of that, but
it just launched.
Coding apps use, but like Anthropic using Claude is a big percentage of that, right? Like, so it's, But we have numbers on Claude Code. Yeah, I'm sorry, Cursor using Claude.
How are we thinking about these things now? Is it like profit per token, basically, is the way to think about these business models?
It's a great question.
I don't know. I think in general,
I think it's just time to next fundraise.
It's interesting because using Claude Code has me really thinking about tokens, because it's really cool the way the interface works. It tells you how many tokens it's outputting every single time you do a request. And so it makes the kind of brass tacks of what you're paying for a lot more clear.
But just to push, I feel like usage-based pricing is generally bad. Like, it's like, if you think about the hierarchy of business models, like paying for what you use, like, pay for what you eat is like just a worse business model than pay me no matter what. Like, there's a hierarchy of business models. So it's kind of interesting to me that like, when I see these things all defaulting to pay for use, I'm kind of like, nah, like this is not the right tendency in terms of like how powerful this business model is. Because the best you can do is just charge me for what I use. Really? Like, I don't know.
It seems to be switching back and forth, right? Because as I started using Claude Code, I'm outputting way more tokens because of it. And you can use a pro account and you get like some number of tokens with a pro account, but you very quickly hit that limit. And so you have to switch over to using the API directly and effectively paying for usage, which is what all businesses are doing too, right?
I've heard these places talk about they want to shift towards pay for impact, but I don't like for.
How do you measure that?
I don't know. Yeah. That's the question.
Well, look, this is the funny part about it is like history always rhymes, right? And like, this brings back so many memories for me of like early Fin conversations. Like, like when we were working on stuff again with much more expensive humans in the loop of starting with flat premium pricing, don't focus on the tokens, to like, oh shit, we can't afford this, so we have to charge you on the marginal token, because if you do an all-you-can-eat plan, the super users use so much they just kill you. So the reason you end up with a usage plan is partially because your business model isn't powerful enough to support it, partially because like you can't afford it. Like you can't possibly like actually afford anything you're spending actual resources. You just can't afford to not have a usage-based business model. And then there's this whole question of impact, which is like, look,
which I think is the truth right now, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's a big part of it. They're just like, we can't not have a usage-based model because this is so expensive that like, and people can just swamp us on costs. That's why Cursor is kind of weird, because they do a monthly flat fee. And then like, I'm sure I'm just destroying their business, right? In terms of usage. And so it becomes this interesting breakage business. There's a whole other thing. And then you get into the whole highest thing, which Jess is pointing out, which is like, look, in an ideal business model, you just like take some of the margin. You're like, I make you
Don't hedge funds work this way? Like if I were selling data to hedge funds, like, oh no, I get a percentage of AUM if I do that, right?
Which is kind of a proxy, right? But the ideal business model is that you take a percentage of the upside, but it's extremely hard to pull off in practice. Businesses like Meta would love to do that, right? But the best proxy they have is your willingness to pay. The idea being that over time margins will compress and you're willing to pay up to the incremental amount. But it's as close as advertising marketplace systems almost get you that. There are other systems where people like are effectively try to proxy this, like But there's a really big problem. Like we see this in a lot of the GBO work we do. We talk Will, my partner, who's really obsessed with this. I think it's fine. I'm into it, but he's like really into it.
Classic Will Quest.
He's like, this is like Will's got his 18-foot whiteboard out on this one. But like he makes a good one point he likes to make, which is true.
I forgot to get a whiteboard. Okay.
The reason that you gotta, for like, if you're doing a growth-oriented buyout, why do you need to buy your customers? Well, one of the reasons you end up needing to buy your customers is that if you have technology or a stack that makes your some business twice as efficient, like you can't go to the CFO and be like, look, I'm going to make you twice as efficient, but you're going to give me half the upside. No CFO will do that deal, right? Like, and so as a result, you kind of have to, if you basically have a business model that's powerful enough and has enough leverage on existing physical businesses, you kind of have to buy your customers and use the leverage to buy the customers, because just culturally, like CFOs will never agree to a deal that pays you as much as you're worth, right? So if you want to get the value from it, you got to buy your customers, which I think is like an interesting way to think about things.
This is going to be a very hot space. I think that's exactly the right question. I mean, right, Dave, you said like, what's the yardstick for these companies? Like at first, I mean, right now, and I'm proud of us guys, we've gotten this far into the episode without talking about the big AI news of the week. So we're using our brains here. But like, you know, we've been in the era of just like back the founding team for $1 gazillion. And these costs and all these questions are becoming real pretty fast, in part because usage is exploding. And I think the investors I talk to are still just looking at like overall tokens. Like, you know, when Microsoft announced that tokens quadrupled or more, I mean, more than that, right? Or like exploding quarter to quarter, public market investors like go crazy on that. But yeah, at what cost seems like the important question.
Yeah.
So shall we delve into some big AI news? We had the big meta raid of OpenAI happened this week. The information was the first to break the news about some of the new key OpenAI researchers that started at Meta this week.
Mark really is picking up all the Pokemon, Sam.
Gotta collect them all. No, my new analogy is that it's kind of Mark. It turns out to be a great Pokemon master. He's going after Charizard next.
Charizard's my favorite.
More? Is he still going?
I once dressed up as Charizard and drove a Mario Kart through Tokyo.
Oh, I thought you were going to say for like your kid's birthday party, but no,
my kid was on the back of the go-kart with me, but we were dressed as Charizard and Pokemon.
I wish some great AI researcher I would be so happy if they just renamed themselves legally Charizard, so that when they get poached, you're poaching Charizard. That'd be just wonderful.
Do you know what my favorite things? Speaking of cards, Sam, I love that our friends over at TBPN are now making
the trade reports.
Cards.
It's
the
awesome.
Trade reports is amazing.
I sent this to Jess. I was like, this is the greatest use of social media I've ever seen. But the has been traded card is fucking hilarious.
Good. Because it's exactly the same. We've been talking about this for ages, is like the trade report, and like it's hilarious they just did it. It's so good.
TBPN's execution is just exquisite. I think there's there's like no notes, and it's really cool.
But guys, we need the baseball cards. You know, we need the baseball card with the tokens produced and the profit produced per person, right? Like we need actually stats.
Dave, the idea of producing a AI trading card deck of AI researchers is extremely funny, with like their like bios on the back. Because you got to get to, you know what I mean? Like, that's very funny. Okay. It's kind of
but you have to have the number of tokens. Like, you have to have their like batting average, like a real way to objectively measure
It's kind of like, during the wars, like in Afghanistan, they put all like the Taliban people on playing cards, right? So that the soldiers would learn.
What?
Yeah. And they'd be like, we got the ace of diamonds or whatever. They have this whole campaign. Like, I think the idea of if I were Topps executive right now, I would totally issue an AI trading card game.
It's really hard to know how big the market for this is, right? Which doesn't even matter because
it doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter. Like you could make one of these decks and get the sort of
Jess, you
marketing.
should sell this deck in the information
No,
store. It would
guys,
crush.
more or less can build this deck. Come on.
I know, but we're doing our Airbnb experiences.
Guys, isn't this also like Moneyball? We've talked about this for a long time. Like Silicon Valley should actually have, free agents, and we should be trading people to different
what's
companies.
Going on.
Well, I know, but we should have more like contract levers. Like this is stealing. This isn't.
No, this is not stealing. Come on,
Britt, come on! You think they need permission
what are you,
to
a
hire
communist?
people?
Okay, $300 million over a 4-year period.
Dude, listen, Mark is
poaching. It's poaching.
No. You know what this is? Mark
It would
is
be
like
it
the
would
Boston
be
Red
illegal
Sox.
if they were coordinating. Like actually, Google and Apple used to do this, and the FTC said no way. Like that would be worse. If
but that's what I'm arguing. I think we should be coordinating, and I think
No.
there should be term limits, and there should be, you're in your trading window.
Britt, who did you vote for in the New York City mayoral election primary? But here's the thing. I think actually Moneyball is a good analogy here, but it's funny. Like right now, Mark is the New York Yankees. He comes in with a big. He can
for sure.
He's the Yankees.
Definitely the Yankees.
He's the Yankees, and good for him. Be the Yankees. I love it.
Yeah.
Be the Red Sox. The question is, who are the Oakland A's? What like AI firm is gonna like pick up for cheap all the shitty like one-armed AI researchers that no one wants but are actually awesome? You know what I mean? Like all like who's gonna assemble the killer team of misfit toys, the submarine pitcher?
You got like the Yankees, the Red Sox, and I don't know, somebody else across Anthropic, XAI, and
that's like, and that's fine. But like someone's gonna be the Billy Bean and find like the kids who are like,
it might actually have to be Apple.
It's like some savant. No, because you need like someone who's like they're gonna find the savants who like, have one arm or like don't know how to count or like, you know what I mean? Like all the misfit toys.
But they're going to find super intelligence? I'm so confused.
The island of misfit toys.
Yeah, maybe. They might come up with a totally new framework that's not LLMs,
I think it is LLM. It's the same league, but I'm into this. I hate AI companies from an investing standpoint, but if someone wants to pitch me on the Billy Bean of AI recruiting to build the team of misfit toys, I'm like really into that. That's a great idea.
That's the only way we seed investors can play, Sam.
Find me Billy Bean. I need Billy Bean. I love this.
But also back to my analogy. So then like Ohtani, the LA Dodgers guy who got like $1 billion for his 7-year contract, is the equivalent of Alexander Wang from Scale AI? Is that how we should be reading it?
No, because he's not the actual player. He's like he's the coach.
Alex is
Alexander Wang is the coach. Yeah.
Alex and Nat Friedman are the coach of this newly announced superintelligence team.
They're the coach and the general manager, right?
Who's the fat analyst and who's the general manager?
Oh my God. The signing, but like I think I mentioned this on the pod before, but like in my endless effort to find new angles into this story, we did a weekend story about the sports analogy, and I think it's apt. We also in January launched the Information's AI talent tracker, where our reporters, through reporting, identified all these, not the names that are in the press all the time, but these really, really key researchers, and it included some of the people who went to Meta. So it sounds like team did a great job on that. But we should have made trading cards from the list. Right now, it's a digital list.
If you turned every list of people into playing cards, because people need to know these names. That's part of the thing. Like no one knows. There's who these also
a real missed opportunity here to deliver these bonuses in a Brinks truck with gold.
Or huge vanity checks. If I were Alexander Wang, that would have been like my final demand. I would have been like one more thing. Huge check.
Brick.
I have one more request.
Okay, but let's put our thinking caps on, crew. Let's put our thinking caps on. So Mark has assembled this team. He's probably not done.
The Yankees.
The Yankees are in the dugout.
In the game. Yeah.
In the game. I think it's also notable there was a leak from an all hands where they were talking about, I don't know who was saying it, but some exec was saying, we think all the AI labs right now are really focused on productivity. We want to focus more on personal use cases. So what happens now? Like, what does Meta do? Like, what do they build? What do they make Llama become? How does this start showing up?
It's clear they have no idea, but they've got the team.
You usually have to pretend to have an idea to get the team. Oh, unless you have $300 million, then you don't need the.
They're in a war room right now, figuring it out.
You get the team. They all they go to spring training. What happens in every sports movie? In spring training,
it's not called spring training at Meta, Sam. It's called lockdown. We know this.
Okay, but just hear me out.
Lockdown is when you know what you're going to build, right? Though
you go to lockdown spring training, and the first thing you have some young kid, and he's all starry, and he's like, "Oh my god, that's that guy, and that's that guy. This team's amazing." And he's all. Then they start playing. You know what always happens in spring training? They lose the first game.
Oh yeah.
You know why they lose the first? Because they have not come together as a team to play as one. Right?
They're not in the flow state.
Which is why they all need to go watch the movie F1 together.
Hold on, we're going to talk about that later, Dave.
And so they come and they lose the first spring training, and they're saying, "Why have we lost this terrible team?" And then they throw bats in the dugout, and the coaches are upset, and the managers are upset, and they say, "You know what we need to do? We need to like become one." And then they go to Top Gun. And they go to the Top Gun scene where they run, and Top Gun 2 where they run on the beach and they throw a football together and they learn to play defense and offense as one. And the general comes and says, "Why are you wasting time?"
Did you just malign the best scene in the history of Top Gun? Oh God.
Well, I was thinking of Top Gun 2. All the AI researchers, and then basically the general comes, Mark comes and says, "You need to be building AGI. Why are you playing volleyball?" And
it's not
say,
AGI, it's super intelligence.
Alexander Wang says, "No, we must come together as one, as a team." And then they come together, and then they shoot the missiles into the hole and blow up the nuclear site, and they win. But it's going to take like that evolution. Like there's going to need to be an arc to the story.
How long is
this
evolution going to take, Sam? How long is this evolution?
It just depends. It just depends. But I suspect that eventually they might need Alexander Wang to run the course in under 2 minutes to prove that it's doable.
It's true. It's true.
I like where Sam's going with this. And also, like, just to tie it into more timely news, The Social Network 2 is already happening, and it's going to be about like the 2010 to 2020 era. I think what Sam's pitching is The Social Network 3.
Sam, who's gonna play you?
So I think we should like get some exec producer credits on these things.
For what it's worth, though, if that actually is how this plays out, the Social Network 1, 2, and 3, it's probably going to exist like most series, where like the second one's going to kind of suck, and the third one will be good.
It's true.
The second chapter is like nah. The third one's a way more compelling story, right?
Yeah.
It's true. It's being written right now.
Okay.
Give us a call, Hollywood.
I like your analogy, Sam, but the problem with it too is like these little pods of researchers just like work like three in a clump and just do their thing and don't want to share their compute. Like, is it a kumbaya thing that is going to create super intelligence? And by the way, AGI is over. We're talking about super intelligence now. So AGI would be AI at the level of humans. Super intelligence would be AI that surpasses humans.
You guys remember when people used to talk about the Turing test? That's so cute.
I know.
Used to talk about the Turing test.
Now I would be mad if an AI didn't beat me in chess. I'd be like, what's wrong with this AI?
Are you ill?
Are you ill? Okay, but you think so? I don't know if they need a kumbaya moment.
No, because they definitely do.
It's you guys. The end of the movie is the sun sets over Menlo Park and they deploy their first model, and it works. Not because it was trained longer, but because it was trained together.
No, I think but don't you think, Dave, there's no part where like, I think there has to be a part where the AI researchers land back on the aircraft carrier and everyone cheers. Right?
What?
No, it's like they're back at 1601, or they're back at the original Facebook building and they're all cheering in the courtyard. Right?
Yeah. The enemy can't be OpenAI because they want to be able to sell it in China.
I want to make a movie about one of the researchers. I want to find the guy. Like, there's just got to be an amazing life story of one of these folks, and that should be a movie. So
they're all amazing life stories. I think you could do a whole mini series. But I do think the more interesting AI researcher story. So the problem I'm conflicted on is like, I grew up in northern New Jersey. I was a Yankees fan. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a Meta fan. Like, it's fine. But I'm not, like, in most sports, I want to be the underdog rooter. In this case, like, I kind of root for the Yankees. But I got to say that I do love Moneyball. And my God, the real story would be the one-armed researcher who beats them all.
Well, Do you think this is going to spur Google and Apple to do some poaching in the near future?
Well, I think
Did everyone's price tag just go
is a
up?
big question. Apple, we got it. Like Apple is not in this league yet. They're doing cool things in AI in different areas, but like they're not.
Are they?
I just would like to move the conversation without a 15-minute debate. So I'm just going to table that. And, but I think OpenAI, there's been all this reporting, like by all accounts, while all this was happening, Sam Altman was in Venice at Bezos's wedding. So that's an interesting, guys.
Might be most expensive wedding in history.
The movie writes itself.
That's true.
Maybe
Wow.
AI can write
Good
me a
point,
screenplay.
Sam. Talk about it. It'll be written as like the world's worst trades, right? Did you lose half of your most important researchers or go to Bezos's wedding?
It was all happening leading up to that. It wasn't like
No, but I actually think that timeline was a critical part of the timeline. But
really,
yes, I do.
It's kind of like, do you guys remember the movie? Do you remember Entourage? There's a very funny scene in one season of Entourage.
Do you need to see a movie, Sam? You're feeling like these analogies.
Ari Gold is like in synagogue at Yom Kippur for the non-Jewish listeners, most holy day of the year.
Yep.
And like, there's all this business going on, and he's like losing his mind because his wife's like, "Turn off the fucking phone."
Yes.
You're like literally
That's
in
one
the
of the
synagogue.
best episodes.
And it's like, I think that's kind of what this is. Like, Sam Altman is in his synagogue, which is Bezos's wedding, and he's like, "Ah."
Well, anyway, I hope he had fun.
Researchers.
I hope he had fun at the PJ party. But I'm curious, like, then this memo came out of OpenAI saying, like, our house has been raided. We have to reconsider all these things. I also hear they have a week-long vacation this week, pre-planned at OpenAI.
That's exactly what you want to do.
right after the Bezos wedding.
It's probably needed.
No,
but the timing's not great. The timing's not great. Your neighbor just got 100 million from Facebook or from Meta.
It may not
you
be
might
great,
make some
but
phone
you got to
calls.
give the team a rest week. Right?
I disagree, Dave. I actually think in general, I told you
you can't burn your players out, Sam.
No, but dude, it's a perfect.
There's no
rally
off-season
cry.
in AI. There's no off-season in AI.
The real thing would have been the Sam Altman, again, who knows what happened, to like get in front of the team and just be like, these motherfuckers, right? Fuck our vacation. It's like, we're going to crush them. Like, they're not going to come into our house and take our researchers. Like, vacation is canceled. We're going to lockdown. Tell your families goodbye. Like, that's like the baller leader move, right? Would have
That's
been
what
to
Mark
like
would
declare
do.
that.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the meme of the XAI office and all the tents in it? Did you see this? There's like hallways and hallways and just
No.
people sleeping in tents everywhere.
So it's like San Francisco.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Did they hire a bunch
that
of
was
homeless
literally
people?
Sam. That was literally the joke.
I love
I really
it.
liked this one, which is a photo of Ronaldo, greatest soccer player of potentially all time, was signing an $80 million bonus, check to go to Real Madrid. And then on the right is Ji Hui Yu, Meta paid $100 million to sign him from OpenAI. And it's like literally the best soccer
great.
player in the world is making 20% less.
But like, it's great. It's how it should be.
Not only is it how it should be, but I actually think this whole thing, like, there's this whole cycle of like kids want to grow up to be fucking YouTube people or sports fans and not AI researchers. Maybe this will change that. They're like, oh shit, I'd rather be that guy, right? That guy's getting paid more. He's cooler. Like, how cool would it be if these guys turned into the cool guys? I'm into that. It's Revenge of the Nerds. Like, hilariously, like 20 years ago, Revenge of the Nerds was like, how to like use a computer and write Python.
Sam, this is the guy that you want on the beach playing football.
That guy is the new baller guy.
Like, I feel like that happened with the Social Network movie, with the Social Network episode 1, and now we're just getting baseball cards.
I'm with you, Dave, but like, there's something funny about like Mark got really good at MMA and like just became cool, and so now like the Revenge of the Nerds is the revenge of these nerds, like, which is kind of awesome, right? It's like successive Revenge of the Nerds.
Mark is too cool now, Sam. He's gonna have to become a nerd again.
Mark's personal brand people will take them over and make them super cool in 6 months. There's a miscongeniality twist to this movie.
You guys are missing this entirely. Like the
Dave,
nerds
tell
are
us
cool
how
again.
it is.
You can't. Mark's too cool now.
The nerds
That's
are cool.
The problem.
There just aren't that many of them. Like there are more food influencers than there are. Like, These are.
But that's my point. Like, the food influencers suck. It's all about these AI researchers. I want to get their autographs.
I mean, I think many of these researchers were educated in China, and I think they are complete rock stars in China. Like, the social media ecosystems there treat
Why
them
not?
as celebrities. So, which is a great article, actually. We should write that.
You should write that article.
Morans, you hit the theaters. Tell us about the F1 movie. The people want to know.
Dave's going to start gushing. So just speak. Dave, give it in like a 2
Dave's
minute.
going to gush about an Apple movie?
Dave's
Okay.
going to gush on and on. Well, here's my one thing I'll say before Dave gushes. I think the most genius part of F1, besides like taking a brand everyone knows and like shooting it really well and the yada, 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 was the cars is what got the boys there. And Brad Pitt is what got the girls there. And so it's truly a family-friendly, great date night out type of movie. And by the way, just by the numbers, so Apple spent $350 million to make this movie. And opening weekend, they did $144 million, which was like way better than they expected.
But it's still not that big.
They've never had a movie open this big, though. This is a huge deal. So this is considered a massive success.
But I agree that it is, but it just shows you how much Hollywood has shrunk, because I feel like the biggest movie in the world opened way bigger than that. And so it's just Hollywood's very different, like theatrical openings.
They used to.
Like things like Star Wars, etc. Big movies like open way bigger than that. It's just the world has changed.
It's a win. It's a win.
I think this movie is the best movie of the year.
I want to see this movie badly. It looks awesome from the trailer.
Sam, I want to hear from the people. Let's hear the review.
Is it just Top Gun 2? It kind of looks like it's Top Gun 2.
Yeah, look, it's
3.
Here's the thing, though. I think you can go out with the idea of making Top Gun 3, Sam, and not execute it very well. And this thing is like true mastery in filmmaking, storytelling, acting, cinematography. To me, the thing that was so cool about it was seeing the people involved at the top of their game. Like, it's really cool to see mastery, and to experience it. And this thing, like, on every vector, it was like everybody was at the top of their game. And
is it like 4 hours? Does it?
No.
2.5. 2.5. Shorter than Mission Impossible, which you should also
shorter
see.
than Mission Impossible.
We saw that.
Okay.
Definitely Brad Pitt at his finest. I mean, it's just like, it was a really fantastic movie.
I'm really excited to see it. It looks awesome.
Is there a volleyball scene?
No volleyball or football. But he's doing a lot of like
Jess, it's good
chin-ups.
in all the ways. Yeah, it's good in all the ways.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for me to get my butt to a theater. So when is it going to come to me?
I think you should go in a theater because the sound and the music is amazing.
Yeah, they did a really good job at music.
I think there's a theater near you that has probably
not any
a
good ones.
one.
It's like we're in like summer zones with shitty summer theaters.
We have these like these like barely like, is this theater still open vibes? But okay, we'll hunt.
Yeah.
Doesn't Sean Parker still have his company where you can like rip all the theatrical movies?
I think that company
to your
died.
home?
Excuse me, I would never do that, Britt. Never.
Not rip. I mean, you paid for it, like $30,000.
No, that company
that
died.
thing. Yeah, not
There's
quite
something
there yet,
like
but-
it though. There's something like it that exists.
Well, that's great. And before we wrap for the people, any more recos? Like any more? Have we talked about Barry Diller's book on this pod yet?
Yes, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Okay. Highly
It's
recommend.
fully out now, right? Yeah.
It's out. Yeah.
Well, also, what was your take on the Bezos wedding, Jess? I need to know.
I mean, deep down, my take is let the happy people get married. I think they could have.
Didn't we talk
dialed
about
it
this last
back.
week?
No, but it happened.
But it
now.
happened. I could have dialed it back. I thought overall there were some wonderful fashion moments of Lauren's outfits. There were elements that I liked of many of them. And yeah, some people really brought it in the fashion. But like, happy people, I think they should get married. But I think in hindsight, maybe in a slightly less crazy way.
I think it's a classic. They just went too small. Like it's like there was too middle road, right? Like it was like I think it would have been fine if they had gone dramatically bigger, or fine if they had gone dramatically smaller. But they kind of was too in the middle. right?
Not enough
Like if they had-
extravagance for you.
Like
Yeah,
if they
it's a
had
good
spent
point.
like 5 times as much and thrown global parties
And
for all of
thrown the
humanity,
party for everyone. Yeah.
thrown the party for everyone.
It brought up $1.2 billion to the Venice economy.
The big mistake was not throwing the huge party for
Especially
the
because
people
weren't
of
there
Italy.
plenty of celebrities there anyway? Couldn't they have just like done something for the people?
Yeah, they could have had a
I
concert.
thought it was really funny just watching all the outtakes of people getting in and off of boats and getting all of the wardrobes in and off of boats for all the people.
Agree. So awkward.
And the thing that was kind of sad to me was that Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have split up, which like they were like married, had a child. And so she just looked really sad the whole time. And he was out like running laps around Venice with Oprah and Gayle King, which I thought was hilarious. So
yeah, but that's through the
just
paparazzi
interesting.
lens, you know?
Well, then she was on stage and like she was actually crying a couple days ago and she had a whole moment. Like this is a big deal. Yeah. So, she's at a wedding, but she just is like getting a divorce. It's, there's love.
And she's on
love
tour,
is
I think.
Tough. She's on tour going through this.
This brings us to our final recommendation. Believe it or not, Katy Perry has a beverage line. When I interviewed her at our women's conference, WTF, she talked about it. And I did not have a chance to partake in these beverages until recently. And I got to say, they're excellent. So
Matcha?
It's called Desoi, DESOI. They are non-alcoholic aperitifs. The spicy margarita one tastes like a spicy margarita, like no notes, like flat out. And they have, these adaptogen things. Sam, you've been drinking them. What's your review?
I'm in. I think it's gonna be very funny because I think Orlando Bloom might have just missed out on a big payday from some CPG company.
Or did he get the payday?
They
were from
depends on what the
California,
marital.
right?
Yeah,
Guys, they weren't married. They never got married.
I think Katy Perry about to become real rich not from music.
It's the Rihanna way.
It's the 50 Cent way.
It's Hailey Bieber way. All of the celebs
This
are cashing out on their CPG.
Guys, Katy Perry already has a huge shoe company that none of you guys have probably ever touched, but she's like far down this chain. But
yeah,
what's her shoe company?
It's called like Katy Perry Shoes, and like it's a huge
like Jessica
company.
Simpson
like
has a massive shoe company too.
Like massive, like Paris Hilton level.
She's famous in China.
Yeah, but anyway, I think between matcha, Desoi, like what else do you need to feel your best this summer?
Spindrift is now launching sodas, by the way. Healthy, better for you, aka competing with Ollie and Poppy.
Sam, what's your favorite flavor of these? I like the spicy marg. What do you like?
I don't have one. I like them all. They're fine. The thing that I like about them is they feel more substantial than like a sparkling water. So you feel like it's more of a moment.
You're fancy.
Just get Magic Mind, everyone.
Just having a moment with Katy
these
Perry.
are different. This is a different use case.
Yeah, this is different, Dave. This is an aperitif.
Magic Mind was made to be actually good for you, not just because a celebrity wanted to make money.
My real question is, do you think that the mini fridge market is exploding? Because people have all these mini beverages around now. And I feel like mini fridges must be on the rise.
It's a good question. I think so too. I actually wanted to get a cool mini fridge for this cabin, but there isn't anything cool, Sam. Maybe we should
There's
make
a lot.
one.
People have tried.
There's, what there is? I have one. The Smeg mini fridge.
Those are cute.
No, not the Smeg. There's one I have in my office. It's Rocco. Have you seen these things? ROCCO.
So we should go all in on blue books, mini fridges, and large printing devices. That's what we've learned from this episode.
Rocco looks like an AC unit, though. That looks like an AC unit, but it's cool.
It's really awesome. You can have 2 different temperatures, and it's actually, of the fridges I've ever used, it's one of the best.
I will say that I'm having some this week drama around mini fridges and small ice machines, because in the Pool House Redux to be shown in future, there's been
Pool House update.
I made a major mistake, which is I did not really think through and push hard enough for my bar coffee area. And it's causing it's going to delay us by a week.
That's never good.
It's going to delay us by a week.
That's nothing in the land of general contractors.
Sam without his pool house is not going to be happy.
Fair.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep us updated on your pool house. I think this is a good time to wrap, folks. We covered a lot of ground. Very happy 4th of July. to our listeners. I guess this will be coming out on the 4th of July. Hope you're doing something super fun.
We should make them out tomorrow. No one's going to listen to this on the 4th of July.
Yeah, maybe they will.
Why?
I feel like it's because you don't do anything on 4th of July.
You don't have to
nighttime.
listen to the podcast when it comes out. You can listen to it later. And with that, a big thank you to the back channel and everyone for listening. We'll see you here next week for another episode of More or Less. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys later.
If you enjoyed this show, please leave us a virtual high five by rating it and reviewing it on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Find more information about each episode in the show notes and follow us on social media by searching for @MoreOrLess, @DaveMorin, @Lesson, @JLesson, and as for me, I'm @Brit. See you guys next time.